These include C&AG's reports on general and social sector for the year ended March 2013 and the report on revenue sector for the year ended March 2013. The salient points included in these two reports are summarized in the briefs given to you. CDs containing both English and Odia versions of these reports have also been kept in your folders. These reports are also now available at the website of Accountant General Odisha, and the website addresses are www.agodi.cag.gov.in and www.agodisha.gov.in. Highlights of the report on general and social sector include the following. This report contains one performance audit relating to the National Rural Health Mission, and it also has observations based on compliance audit in relation to total sanitation campaign in Odisha, functioning of rural piped water supply schemes in the state, distribution of superior kerosene oil in the, under PDS, that is Public Distribution System, security related expenditure, assessment and realization of cost of deployment of police personnel in other than government organizations, sale and disposal of river sand, payment of dues or fees in replacement of original challans, and procurement and distribution of dual desks in some schools. Let me start with the important observations relating to National Rural Health Mission. We found that the planning was deficient due to non-preparation of perspective plans and annual action plans during 2007 to 13 at the state, district as well as block levels. District Health Action Plan was prepared for only 4 districts out of 30. The 4 districts where this plan was available are Cuttack, Dhenkanal, Puri and Mayurbhanj. Details in this regard you can find in paragraph 2121. Gaon Kalyan Samitis, which were meant to work as community level platform to facilitate public health activities, were formed late, and 63 Gaon Kalyan Samitis were still to be formed at the time of the audit report. The delay in formation of these samitis led to the Government of India's assistance being short received, that is less received, by rupees 18.52 crores. State healthcare spending remained below 3% of the total budget as against the recommended 8% in terms of the National Health Policy 2002. This was due to less allocation by the state. When compared to the GSDP, that is gross state domestic product, the spending on public health including NRHM remained below 1%. There were delays in release of Government of India installments due to delay in submission of project implementation plan by the state. We also observed that the first installment of rupees 999.20 crore was released by Government of India in various years with delays ranging from 3 to 120 days, and the delays in release of second installment ranged from 2 to 157 days. Details you will find in paragraph 2.1.4.3. The next important finding is that though the maternal mortality rate reduced from 303 in 2007-8 to 237 in 2011-12, this rate was still above the target set by NRHM, which was 100. As regards the infant mortality rate, even this rate reduced from 71 to 57 against the national average of 55 to 54 during 2007 to 2012. The target of NRHM here was 30, and this rate is counted with reference to per 1000 live births. Despite increasing trend of institutional deliveries in the state, position was not satisfactory in the districts of Koraput, Navranpur and Kalahandi, where it remained between 13 to 64% as against the NRHM target of 70%. Despite stipulation in Indian Public Health Standards to have their own buildings, 91 PHCs, that's primary health centers, and 2,969 sub-health centers were functioning from private buildings in the state. Infrastructure was not satisfactory, as only 50% of the works were completed out of 5,028 works which were sanctioned during 2007 to 13. We also found that facilities for pathological tests were not available in 13 test check community health centers, whereas X-ray and electrocardiogram (ECG) facilities were not available in all the 24 CHCs which were test checked in the course of audit. Against the Indian Public Health Standard norms for posting of 10,594 doctors in the state, 5,077 doctors were sanctioned and 3,435, which is 32%, were in position as of March 2013. The details of this will find in paragraph 2.1.8.1. Similarly, as against the requirement of 20,064 health workers for sub-health centers in the state, 10,914, that's about 54%, were in position. No staff nurse and lab technicians were posted despite stipulation in IPHS to 5 staff nurses and 2 LTs, that is lab technicians, in each public health center, in each primary health center. Besides, 59% of pharmacists were found short in primary health centers. We also found that though 1,075 specialists under 17 categories were essential for district health headquarters, only 603 specialists were available. Drugs which is not of standard quality, valuing rupees 5.08 lakhs or 5.80 lakhs, and life expired drugs of rupees 0.74 lakhs were found administered to patients. Essential drugs valued at rupees 4.60 crore were procured by the State Drug Management Unit and distributed to rural medical institutions without quality testing. Drugs worth rupees 42.84 lakh with less than 5/6 of the shelf life, and 5 drugs worth rupees 31.90 lakhs without any manufacturing date written on them were also procured. The details will find in paragraph 2.1.9.6. The conclusion which emerges from this audit of NRHM, National Rural Health Mission, is that the objectives of the mission to provide accessible, affordable, reliable and quality health care to rural population sought to be achieved through this mission remained largely unfulfilled. I now move to the important points relating to compliance audit. As regards total sanitation campaign in Odisha, we found that the institutional setup for total sanitation campaign in Odisha was deficient, as block resource centers for creating awareness and motivating people for hygienic habits in gram panchayats or villages were not set up as per requirement. The department set up 58, that is 18% of these resource centers against the requirement of 314 by September 2013. Funds under the Information, Education and Communication Program, which is an important component of this total sanitation campaign, were utilized to the extent of 12% of availability. Advances amounting to over rupees 13 crore to different officials and organizations remained unadjusted as of November 2012. Inadequate and unplanned IEC activities led to lack of awareness and less creation of demand, and the objective of the total sanitation campaign program to provide access to toilet to all rural areas by March 2012 remained largely unfulfilled, as 85.90% of rural households were not having access to these facilities. During joint inspection in 25 Gram Panchayats, these joint inspections involve people from audit as also people from the concerned government department. We found that though Nirmal Gram Puraskar was awarded for all these 25 Gram Panchayats, none of them fulfilled the eligibility criteria. I now move to the rural pipe water supply scheme in the state. As far as these schemes are concerned, we found that the community involvement was absent due to non-formation of village level water and sanitation committees and non-preparation of village water security plan. We found that only in 2,906, that's 25%, of such committees were formed against the requirement of 11,469 such committees by December 2013. We also found that due to dual responsibility, that is, operation of these schemes was the responsibility of Panchayati Raj institutions, whereas maintenance of these schemes was left to Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Department. Many projects were lying defunct or were not functional for years. The department failed to take adequate precaution to provide safe water, and unsafe water with excess chemical content from 73 projects was being used by people from such schemes. We now move to distribution of superior kerosene oil under the public distribution scheme. Here we found that the government failed to review the list of beneficiaries annually since 1992 for the purpose of deleting ineligible beneficiaries and adding eligible beneficiaries. During special drive undertaken between 2009 to 11 by the department, 59,094 ration cards were detected as ineligible. There was diversion of 9,260 kiloliters of subsidized super kerosene oil involving subsidy of rupees 24.20 crore to non-PDS beneficiaries. We also found that beneficiaries were given less super kerosene oil than the prescribed quantity. I now move to the security related expenditure. We found that the state government incurred expenditure during 2009-12 under security related expenditure for rupees 15.60 crore, which was disallowed by the central government because it was incurred on inadmissible items.
Sir, again you allow to listen. Again you allow to listen this point. Again you try out. Non-food related expenditure.
Yes. You want me to repeat this?
Yes.
We found that the state government incurred expenditure of rupees 15.60 crore was disallowed by the central government between 2009 to 2012 because it was incurred on some inadmissible items. There were delays in payment of ex gratia and compensation ranging from 10 to 28 months. We found that despite non-fulfillment of prerequisites and non-commencement of work in respect of 57 works, rupees 29.79 crore were released to executive agencies, resulting in idling of funds. There was avoidable expenditure of rupees 5.31 crore on assets created beyond prescribed specification. Now I move to assessment and realization of cost of deployment of police personnel in other than government organizations. Here we found that the deployment of police personnel without collection of the assessed cost of deployment in advance resulted in non-realization of dues of rupees 3.52 crore. No provision was made for execution of agreement between user agency and the service provider with a view to safeguard government interest in the event of non-payment or delay in payment of prescribed fees. As regards sand and sale and disposal of river sand, we found that the government did not make assessment of the sources and irregularly awarded sources on negotiation, allowed bidders for mining without execution of agreement, and unauthorizedly accepted bids for amounts to be paid in installments. We also found that in one case, in case of BDA, bank challans were replaced and some changes were made in the daily collection register, which resulted in a loss of rupees 12.75 lakhs to BDA. We also found that due to non-selection of small-scale industry units for supply of fuel desks in the same or nearby district as per the criteria fixed by the government, the department procured desks from distant districts and as such incurred excess expenditure amounting to rupees 22.93 lakh on transportation cost in between 2008 and 2010. I now move to important points contained in the report on revenue sector. The report of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India on revenue sector for the year ended March 2013 highlights non or short levy of tax, interest, penalty, revenue foregone, etc. totaling rupees 6,195.38 crore. The broad picture is that the total revenue receipts of the government for the year 2012-13 amounted to rupees 43,936.91 crore against rupees 40,267.02 crore in the previous year. Out of this, 52.60%, which is a significant percentage, was raised by the state through tax revenue and non-tax revenue of its own. The balance, that is 47.40%, was received from Government of India in the form of state's share of divisible union taxes and grant in aid. I now move to some important observations relating to some specific types of receipts of Government of India. I first go to the value added tax, central sales tax, entry tax and profession tax. In relation to these taxes, we had an audit of deduction of tax at source from works contractors. And in the course of this audit, we observed that TDS, that is tax to be deducted at source, amounting to rupees 88.18 lakhs was short deducted by 22 tax collecting authorities due to application of lower rate of tax, and on this amount a penalty of rupees 1.76 crore was not imposed. You will find the details in paragraph 2.2.41b. Tax and penalty of rupees 1.17 crore was not levied due to incorrect application of standard input-output norms for production of sponge iron in case of a dealer. The details you will find in paragraph 2.4.2. Penalty of rupees 15.96 crore was not found imposed on 5,542 dealers for non-submission of certified report on the audited accounts within the prescribed period. As regards motor vehicles tax, we found that motor vehicles tax and additional tax amounting to rupees 83.01 crore including penalty, was not or short realized in respect of 37,098 vehicles under different categories. You will find the details in paragraphs 3.3.1.1 and 3.3.1.2. Coming to stamp duty and registration fees, we found that the government sustained a loss of revenue amounting to rupees 10.74 crore towards stamp duty and registration fees due to misclassification of documents of development agreement instead of conveyance. We also found that due to non-levy of stamp duty and registration fees as applicable to conveyance on the registration of power of attorney involving transfer of possession, there was loss of revenue amounting to rupees 114.10 crore. You will find the details in paragraph 4.2.3. As regards state excise duty and fees, we found that differential state excise duty of rupees 2.15 crore on annual closing stock for 2011-12 was not realized from Odisha State Beverage Corporation. Irregularities in settlement of IMFL of shops in Raigada district led to revenue loss of rupees 1.02 crore. This is in paragraph 5.3.4. Coming to mining receipts, we had conducted a performance audit of working of steel and mines department, and in the course of this audit, a test check was conducted in 7 out of 14 important circuits. The important results as a result of this audit include the following. A long-term strategy for conservation and development of minerals in the state was absent. The details in this regard you will find in paragraph 6.2.8. Absence of specific time limit for processing and disposal of applications for prospecting license, mining leases, renewal of mining leases, and lapse proposals of non-operating mines at various levels resulted in delayed disposal of applications and consequent impact on revenue. We also found that grant of permission for operation of mines in violation of Act or rules led to irregular extraction of minerals in some cases. We also found that 47.42 lakh metric tons of minerals valued at rupees 552.50 crore were irregularly removed or stored, and this remained undetected for a long period. We also found that due to improper checking of permitted and dispatched quantity of minerals, dispatch of 37.23 lakh minerals valued at rupees 75.16 crores in excess of permitted quantity remained undetected. The details of this will be available in paragraph 6.2.11.2. Due to incorrect assessment, there was short levy of rupees 273.23 crore in some cases. The details you will find in paragraph 6.2.12.1. Absence of any time limit for disposal of seized mineral, that is confiscated minerals, resulted in blocking of revenue. And if you want to know a little more specifics, the minerals involved were something like 46,400 tons, which involved about 6.29 crores in 3 circles.
Sir, regarding this irregular removal, storage of this mineral,
Yes.
and which remains unchecked, undetected for a long period.
Yes.
That means it was found after some time.
Yes. As I said, the The details of this are available in paragraph 6.2.11. What had happened essentially is, to tell you in short, the minerals were stacked in forest area which was outside the lease area granted to the lessee, and transit passes were also not issued, but still the minerals were there. So this is what was seen.
Dumped in somebody's other's area.
In nobody's area, in government's area, that's correct.
I have little bit doubt.
Yes.
What is the mines area? How much cess has been collected?
That these are cases where the circles involved are Jagatsinghpur circle,